Hello, friends. Good morning to everyone. How are you? I hope you all are good. Okay, so today we will talk about the definitions of poetry, which are very important for your exam if you are preparing for literature, for TZT, PZT, and LT grade, any type of exam in which literature is asked. Okay, so this video is very helpful for you. Okay, so let's start the definitions of poetry. The first definition of poetry is that poetry is finer and more philosophical than history. For poetry expresses the universal and history only the particular. Okay, पोइट्री जो है वो फाइनर है, बहुत ही फाइन है, बहुत ही फिलोसफिकल है हिस्ट्री की अपेक्षा. ओके, पोइट्री एक यूनिवर्स को एक्सप्रेस कर सकती है, लेकिन जो हिस्ट्री होती है वो पर्टिकुलर चीज़ों को एक्सप्रेस करती है. ओके, तो यहाँ पर हिस्ट्री से कंपैरिजन करा गया है पोइट्री का. एंड दिस डेफिनेशन इज गिवन बाय एरिस्टोटल. And in which work? Yes, it is Poetics. In Poetics, Aristotle gave this definition. And if we talk about Aristotle, so I think you all know, but I would like to told you that Aristotle was an ancient Greek philosopher, scientist, and the founder of the Lyceum School of Philosophy. Okay? The next definition is poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. This definition is given by P.B. Shelley, and P.B. Shelley is a romantic writer. Okay? And we can say that P.B. Shelley is a revolutionary writer also. The third definition of the poetry is given by W.B. Yeats. Okay, and the definition is, out of the quarrel with others we make rhetoric. Out of the quarrel with others we make rhetoric, but out of the quarrel with ourselves we make poetry. This definition is given by W.B. Yeats, and W.B. Yeats is a modern time period. Okay? Yes. The next definition of poetry is that poetry is when an emotion has found its thought and the thought has found words. A poem begins in delight and ends in wisdom. If you have difficulty to learn the definition, okay, you can make a trick, and you can pick the keywords of this definition. Okay, like you can pick begins in delight and ends in wisdom. Begins in delight and ends in wisdom. When you learn time and again, okay, when you say this line time and again, and after that you will say, yes, Robert Frost, you can learn. Okay, you can learn from that. So you can pick keywords in this definition. Okay, it makes easy to learn you. Yes. Okay, so this definition is given by Robert Frost, and the full name of Robert Frost is Robert Lee Frost. Okay, Robert Lee Frost, and he is an American writer. Next definition: poetry is not a turning loose of emotion, but an escape from emotion. Okay, it is very beautiful definition, I like this definition very much. Poetry is not a turning loose of emotion but an escape from emotion. It is not the expression of personality but an escape from personality. And that is given by T.S. Eliot, and T.S. Eliot is also a modern writer. Okay, and uh, his work, I think, the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, I think it's work related to T.S. Eliot. Okay, and that is a very famous work of T.S. Eliot. Yes, okay. Next definition: the poet's eye in a fine frenzy rolling doth glance from heaven to earth, from earth to heaven. In this definition, guys, you can pick keywords that heaven to earth, earth to heaven, okay, because this definition is so long to learn. Okay, so you can pick the keywords in this definition like heaven to earth, earth to heaven, okay, and you can relate this definition with Shakespeare, okay, so it is easy to learn. So the poet's eye in a fine frenzy rolling doth glance from heaven to earth, from earth to heaven, and as imagination bodies forth the forms of things unknown, the poet's pen turns them to shapes and gives airy nothing a local habitation and a name. Okay, you can pick the word habitation and you can relate with Shakespeare. You can pick the word in this definition like heaven to earth, from earth to heaven, and you can relate with Shakespeare. Okay, it will easy to learn. That's why I am telling you. Okay, the next definition is very important and is very common also because we all learn the definition time and again. Poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origin from emotion, okay, recollected in tranquility. Tranquility का मीन्स होता है शांति. ओके, तो पोइट्री जो होती है वो स्पॉन्टेनियस ओवरफ्लो होता है. स्पॉन्टेनियस जो लगातार हमारे जो इमोशंस ओवरफ्लो होते हैं ना, फीलिंग्स जो हमारी होती है, उसको बताया गया कि दैट इज़ पोइट्री. एंड दैट definition is given by Wordsworth, and Wordsworth is also a romantic time period writer, romantic writer. Okay, yes, next definition of the poetry is also given by Wordsworth, and this definition is also very important. You can learn poetry is the breadth and finer spirit of all knowledge. If you have difficulty to learn this definition, you can learn first line only like poetry is a breadth and finer spirit of all knowledge. Okay, you can learn time and again, so you can cram this definition in your mind. Okay, poetry is a breadth and finer spirit of all knowledge. It is the impassioned expression which is in the countenance of all signs. Yes, countenance का means होता है मुखमंडल. Okay, countenance of all signs, and that definition of the poetry is given by Wordsworth. Okay, so these are most important definition of the poetry you can learn. Okay, and very helpful for your exam. Yes, चलिए आज के लिए इतना ही है. वीडियो पसंद आया तो इसको लाइक करें, कमेंट्स करें एंड ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इसको शेयर करें. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में कुछ अदर बढ़िया इन्फॉर्मेशन के साथ में. ओके, टेक केयर, बाय बाय.